Mike Swanson here. I want to real quickly talk about the S&P 500 with you right now because you're probably worrying about what it's going to do next, especially after we've seen it have this big collapse and then make a new low when it gapped down yesterday. I actually think the market is bottoming or has bottomed, I should say, because we saw a total panic washout last Thursday. It actually started to average in right at that moment. And what you see right here is the ratio of down to up volume on the New York Stock Exchange. The green above shows you the number of buy volume, and red below shows you the sell volume. And as you can see, there's been a huge amount of sell volume the past couple weeks, which ended, I believe, with a climatic panic washout last Thursday. In fact, there was more sell volume the past few weeks than there even was on the bottom of March 2009. And it's very comparable to what happened in the October stock market crash. In fact, as far as one-day selling goes, the only thing comparable to last Thursday, which as you see, it goes beyond anything we saw in the March bottom, was only one day during the fall 2008 collapse. In other words, the selling has been intense, incredibly intense. And that type of intense selling typically marks bottoms of some sort. They mark the end of corrections. That said, of course, as you know, the stock market gapped down yesterday to make a new low, then it recovered. I don't really think that's inconsistent, though, with the idea that the stock market is bottom, because it needs to go sideways a little bit before it can go up in a sustainable manner. If you look at this chart, the two green lines are 15-day short-term Bollinger Bands, and they're fairly wide apart from each other. What that means is the volatility in the stock market has really reached an epic proportion. And it needs to come back to its standard deviation, to normality, before it can really start going up in a sustainable manner. What that means is, another way to put it, is the stock market needs to go sideways and repair itself from this price damage that's happened, in the past week and a half. The only way you can really do that is by going up and down, up and down. In fact, it could even pop up to, say, 1100 and then make a very minor new low. But I really believe that if somehow or another the stock market were to gap down again to a new low or test the lows of yesterday, it really won't drop beyond that, because I really believe we've seen a major panic washout in the stock market. And once the market recovers from this, the next move will be higher, at least up to the 1175 area through 1150 area of the S&P 500. So what you need to do is think of the 1075 to, let's say, 1025 area or 1030 area as a buy zone where you average into the stock market the next couple of weeks and then potentially sell up here, or maybe even at new highs. We'll answer that question once the stock market starts to rally, later on in the summertime, and judge the strength and quality of that rally to decide whether or not, it's going to peak out up here, or it's going to be more sustainable and really lead to new all-time highs. So in sum, I know everyone is being mesmerized by the day-to-day activity in the stock market. You're probably glued to the television set. But you have to take every single day's action in the stock market in context with the current trend of the market and the big picture and the technical picture of the market. And that suggests that there really isn't any more downside that you need to worry about here. Instead, you need to consider that the market is in the process of stabilizing. And you can use that however you want. If you're fully invested, you should basically hold on and ride it out at this point. It's too late to sell. And if you have money or you're looking to buy, use this as a time to start doing that. I took somewhat of a position already, a limited small position, and I may be looking to buy later in the coming weeks once the market consolidates and starts to turn up. I'll start buying individual stocks, and you'll hear about that then. But anyway, I think this gives you a good idea of what I think's going on, and I'll be talking to you later.